Um, what do you think PWE could have done differently to stay in business longer?
Martin could have controlled who had control. And I know that sounds weird. And that's one thing I told him a few times, like, I didn't really speak up a whole lot because, you know, I'm still fairly new. You know, it's not respectful to speak up unless you're asked. And, you know, if I'm not asked, I usually don't. But he didn't really grow a backbone until things really started going down the tube. And that's not a knock on Martin. He was just, you know, when you're promoting a show, you wear a lot of hats, you know, and you can't afford to wear the friend hat. And he learned that a little too late in the game.
Staying true to themselves. I think that the minds behind it in the beginning, if they were better at coordinating themselves, they would have been able to achieve a better goal. I still think that once MSL and Chase and all the Believe guys were really stepping in and more prominent, then that's the extent. That's when I think it was starting to fall. There was no saving it.
Keeping number one, the local guys, like the homegrown guys that bust their ass for it. Number two, don't bring in other bookers like Sean Davis. I mean, I'm not trying to like shit on him or anything, but I think the booking when Martin and Lewis were doing it, I think it was better, and everybody agreed on it.
Probably dropped out on a lot of the bullshit, you know, instead of paying certain workers money and, you know, pay everybody something, you know, because I know that I worked out there for probably 4 months without a single pay, you know, and I was doing it because I love this sport, so.
Okay.
So, what could have been done differently? You know, some of the other guys that had some, you know, creative input on what should happen with Eclipse should never have been given that input. You know, that was, you know, Martin's baby. He should have been 100% in control the entire time. And another thing on Martin, he shouldn't have given control to other people. He should have delegated tasks under his control to other people, and he shouldn't have gone on like month-long leaves of absence no matter what was going on in his life if he really wanted that to succeed. So, you know, Martin does have some blame to take there.
Definitely new location, definitely new ring, and I think they needed more experience in running their product. I don't think that Lewis and Martin really had the experience to run a show that was vastly successful over a large amount of time. I mean, I realize that you know, PWE has a lot of supporters, but really, I mean, when you look at it, how many do they draw every week? What? 20, 25, 30, maybe 50? I think at the most, maybe they packed the house and got 75. But on average, you know, I mean, it really didn't seem like they were drawing more than like 30 people on average. I find it astounds me how that can be considered successful.
You know, and you know, one of the biggest problems that we had, and let's say this, is that I worked the show and then I gave it a shitty review. You know, and you didn't want me to do that. But even if, you know, the company that I'm running now had a shitty show, I'll be the first to say it. You know, I mean, if you're gonna write a review, you got to be fair.
A lot of my problem back then, and this is all off topic what he wanted us to do, but a lot of my problem back then was that I was more into trying to please everyone and not give a fuck about what I needed to get done. And I was trying to do everything at once. I was trying to give a fuck about the show and put my passion into it while keeping this handful of people happy. And this is where I guess the shoot starts, and the issue was that I was a pussy about it.
Besides the fact that, you know, he touched upon it a little bit, and the back we butted heads really bad about pay. You know, just to clear out the situation, and he'll tell you, I wasn't asking for pay for myself. It was for, you know, the Joshes and the Mikeys and the guys that have been there since day one that weren't getting paid. And I felt that you shouldn't you shouldn't have to start bringing in bigger names until they started getting paid. And I almost killed you that day. I did. I really wanted to grab you by the neck and strangle you. And me and him have known each other for many, many years. We've worked in the same promotion. He's worked over there when the original Joe Bob was with us. And I don't like you. I don't. I really don't. I think you're a scumbag. And I think that's probably why you like a certain person out of another company that I don't like. 400-pound fucking fat bastard, but that's not the problem. Problem is, I know I don't like you. I really don't. And I'm pretty sure you have issues with me, but I have a certain amount of respect for Martin because when he fucks up, he's man enough to say I fucked up.